There was a report about a week ago which had some dubious sources. It claimed that China, and I mean very general terms here, China was shutting down car parks for electric cars, as in underground car parks, banning electric cars from using them. Now, this was a report that went viral. It was shared all over Facebook, social media, and I actually thought to myself, is this true? I mean, if you think about it, in many of these cities, more than 50% of the cars that are being currently driven are electric cars. When I was in China, I was shocked by how many EVs I saw. I felt like I saw a lot more EVs than internal combustion engine cars. And I was in a bus that traveled all over China for about a week. Now, is it therefore likely that these Chinese car parks have shut them down for electric cars and plug-in hybrids? Well, here's the story, and here's what I think is actually going on. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. You probably heard the story where a Mercedes-Benz caught fire in a park I believe, an underground car park in Korea, South Korea. Reportedly then, South Korea was banning all EVs from underground car parks. Well, that was the media storm in a teacup. That's what we all heard. We all thought, well, that's a bit of an overreaction. It's one car. There's plenty of internal combustion engine cars that have burned in car parks as well. Turns out, yeah, it was an overreaction. And actually, South Korea is not banning all EVs from car parks or underground car parks or apartment car parks. It was just an investigation into what happened. And the media kind of turned it into this massive, crazy storm. Now, despite being the world leader in electric vehicle production, some businesses in China are apparently banning EVs in underground car parks, citing a potential fire risks. Now, the media presented this story as though, most of China was banning electric cars from underground car parks. They say that in a social media post by X, formerly Twitter user, Y-Out-Uz-Ili, uploaded on the 9th of September 2024, that various hotels and offices across multiple Chinese provinces have placed signs preventing EV drivers from parking their vehicles at underground car parks. Now, I've got to point out something here that no one is mentioning. I'll say it in a minute. This post said, due to the frequent safety accidents involving new energy vehicles in China, hotels and office buildings in many places in Zhejiang province have successfully banned new energy vehicles from being parked in underground garages, which has attracted outside attention. Now, this post does not say EVs have been banned. It says new energy vehicles. So we don't know if it's plug-in hybrids and electric cars or both put together. In fact, the media obviously doesn't know what NEVs are, doesn't care. Just thought, this sounds like EVs. We're going to say that all of China's banning EVs. This is actually not the case. In fact, I wasn't able to find any signs actually from China, and I've spent about a day looking at this. Not a single one saying they ban electric cars. Banning NEVs, there's about 4 signs. That's it. Now, there's 1.35 billion people in China, and that means there's hundreds of thousands of places like this, and only 3 signs that I've been able to actually find. 3 signs banning NEVs. Now, this could be a reference to plug-in hybrids, because plug-in hybrids do unfortunately catch fire very, very frequently. In fact, about 100 times more frequently on average globally than electric cars. Now, when I first made that claim about plug-in hybrids, I made a video, and in the video there were some incredibly angry people because they bought plug-in hybrids and they were furious. This isn't true, you're making this up. Oh, fake facts. Show us your sources. I basically had to provide them with 67 different cross-referenced articles and double-blind studies proving that I was telling the truth. Now, of course, now it's established fact. Everyone has said, yes, it's true. Plug-in hybrids do burn at about 100 times the rate of an electric car. And electric cars are about 20 times less likely than an internal combustion car, be diesel or gasoline, petrol, about 20 times less likely to be involved in a fire. So, is it true, as here you go, drive.com.au, one of the largest media organizations in Australia, said, one of the photograph signs uploaded by this numbskull in China was from the management of the Hulgang building located in Ningbo City, asking EV owners to park their vehicles in a separate parking lot with wider spaces. Now, does it say EVs? No, it says NEVs. We don't actually know what they're referring to. Does this mean all NEVs? In other words, more than half the cars in Ningbo. Now, Ningbo is actually a city that actually has adopted EVs really fast. So their EV sales NEV sales in Ningbo have now hit about 65%. In other words, these car park owners apparently are banning 65% of car owners. Now, I should point out, Ningbo is a ghost city. That's a true fact. I went there. Not all of it. Yeah, it's true that half of it's not. But a massive percentage of Ningbo, no one lives there. I mean, you can travel for miles and miles, and there's apartment blocks after apartment blocks, and there's no cars. It is truly, truly bizarre. I've never seen anything like it, guys. When I was on the bus, I'm thinking, ghost cities are real. There's really massive ghost cities here in China. I was in Ningbo, right? So apparently these businesses in China, which are probably struggling because there's not that many people in this city, nowhere near as many as what the developers hoped would arrive, apparently they're banning 65% of all cars from parking in their car parks. Does that sound likely to you? I mean, I guess it's possible. Now, the other point here is there's only 3 sites from 3 businesses. Now, that's a little bit different to the claims of widespread bans across all of China, which obviously are utterly ridiculous unless you have some proof other than just some dude on X or Twitter posting a few random images with these claims. Now, apparently, as per Drive, Chinese news outlets said the decision to ban battery-powered cars in some underground areas was influenced by reports of 11 electric vehicle fires in Hangzhou, the capital city of Zhejiang, in April and May this year. So somehow the media only caught on to this. This happened in April and May this year, and somehow it took the global media 4 months, 5 months, 6 months to actually work out what had happened. Is that likely? Well, I don't know. But here's another fact. Yes, plug-in hybrids are very likely to catch fire. And actually, some electric cars in China are likely to have issues, pretty major issues. And the reason I say this is because there is still a lot of EVs sold in China which are absolute shit. When I say shit, I mean they are not even, I would barely call them a car. There is a ton. You can jump on Alibaba and you can see what I'm talking about, right? AliExpress, whatever it's called. Alibaba, I believe. Anyway, there's car sales websites in China with hundreds and hundreds of different models of cars, which are just backyard made cars. They have lead acid batteries in them. These things are just pure junk. Now, they're very cheap. You're talking, $2,000 for a so-called electric car. And for some people, maybe they think that's a good option. I don't think it is. I mean, you can get a second-hand Wuling Hongwan Mini EV for a couple of thousand. That's a much better option than paying $2,000 for an Alibaba lead acid battery special made by, I don't know, it's not backyard vehicles. They're made in a factory, of course, but they're rubbish. They're terrible. These lead acid battery, very subpar vehicles have very limited safety. I don't know if they're legal in a lot of places in China. They're still sold. There's 1.35 billion people in the country. A lot of stuff still goes on like that. So, of course, the media would never give any context to say, well, maybe these underground car parks don't want these junky EVs, which are barely even registerable and extremely unsafe. That is possible. I didn't mention that, though, because I'm guessing that none of them actually did any proper research. An unnamed security manager, unnamed, from a 5-star hotel in Hangzhou told local media, based on characteristics of electric vehicle fires and our hotel's firefighting capabilities, we think it's safer not to allow them into the underground garage. Now, do you think that security guy still has a job? I mean, realistically, right? If you go to China, you'll find there is too many hotels. There is too many. There is an abundance of options of hotels for you to stay at in almost every city. I've been to a few different cities in China, and there's an oversupply of apartments. Think about it. They've built this massive oversupply of properties. They've done the same thing with hotels. So now this 5-star hotel is basically alienating 65% of its buyers. Now, 65% of its potential Patreons. In addition to that, keep in mind, people usually will buy an internal combustion engine car if in their mind they can't afford an EV. There's still a lot of EVs in China that are more expensive than internal combustion. They're considered more luxurious. They're considered a more technologically advanced product. So a lot of people are like, well, I don't have the money. I'm not even going to look at an EV. I'm just going to buy my old Nissan Sylphy, the old, Volkswagen Passat. They're the sort of vehicles that people have bought in the millions in China, even though their sales are dropping drastically. The truth is, that they're cars for sort of like the general population, right? But the more wealthy people in China now are generally buying electric cars. And apparently these 5-star hotels saying, you guys, you wealthy people, have to go and park outside in the sun. Do you think Chinese wealthy people would want to do that? Well, I don't think so. Now, it may be possible that this has been done at a couple of hotels, but there is no evidence that this is a mainstream thing that's happened all over China. And it's kind of embarrassing, the stuff the media prints. And it's not just the media, unfortunately. There's EV websites printing this stuff as well. It's really a whole load of nonsense. And honestly, we see this stuff about China all the time, don't we? We see this stuff every month or two. There's another crazy report. China's going to hell. China's going to be World War III. This happened. All these electric car companies, they're all going to be out of business next year. Some of them will be, but not all of them. But anyway, if it's China and it's negative, it generally sells in the West. And that's why it's actually worth checking the facts first. Like I said, this is one tweet from one person and a security guard in a 5-star hotel. That's what the basis for all these stories was, claiming that most hotels and places in China had closed down their underground parking to all electric cars, when the post itself never even actually said that. Thanks for watching.